Hi, I'm James from Chaosium. I sat down with Jeff Richard and we talked about the projects he was working on and what fans could expect to be coming from Chaosium, amongst many other things, in 2022. Jeff walked through a ton of interesting stuff, which is why this video is broken into two sections. I'm going to jump across to the first section of the video right now, where we talk about the biggest project that Jeff has been involved on. I'll move across to that interview in just a moment, but first, remember to subscribe to the Chaosium YouTube channel. It helps us out and it lets us make more content like this. Thanks.
Well, the key things that I'm working on that I'm hoping to actually have out for 2022, the big book, what right now is in layout, and I just saw the first volume of it in complete layout, is the Cults of Glorantha, and this is going to be in the form of 2 volumes plus a Prosopaedia. And we're working on we're getting the Prosopaedia done first. What the Prosopaedia is that is a systemless overview of all of the gods and goddesses and major heroes and spirits of the setting that we know enough about to be able to write something intelligible more than a name too. In some cases, the entries are quite long, and some cases the entries are relatively short. But this is an amazing guide to the gods and goddesses and spirits and heroes. It's about I think it's the version I looked at was 126 pages. It is beautifully illustrated by Katrin. Who is a marvelous, absolutely marvelous artist from Turkey, and she has done just such an amazing job on this one, and it's lavishly illustrated. So I'm super excited about that. That's actually in final touch up for layout. And then immediately after that, Sim and the team, we move forward to doing the layout for the long anticipated cults book. And this is 2 volumes. It's over 100 cults. It's done in kind of 9 chapters or mini books. 7 of them, if I'm correcting it wrong, are pantheon oriented. So it's the darkness, water, earth, fire, sky, the light bringers. There is the horned god and the major animist religions, the lunars, and chaos. Sorry, 8. And then there is the first chapter is just an overview to mythology of Glorantha, as well as pertinent rules for RuneQuest, and kind of an overview of all of this, complete with a big new updated version of the monomyth that's been done with the monomyth story that we're familiar with lots of little short myths interspaced throughout it. And then the final chapter is an appendix with some essays from Greg and I, as well as cult distribution charts for all of Glorantha. So that's a huge whopper, and man, we are excited about this. And again, it is unbelievably lavishly illustrated with, I'd say, the 90% of the art is by Loic Mouzy, and then the other 10% is by Agatha Pate. So it's 2 fantastic French artists, and Loic and Agatha are amazing artists. And there's smattering of art from others, I suspect, but they did 99% of the work. And then the maps, there's these beautiful maps from Francesca Bayrold and from Matt Ryan. So this is a heck of a book, and I'm expecting it to go into layout later this month, but it's going to take a while to wrap up because it's a lot to do, and we've got the whole graphic and art team working on this. But my expectation is to have this done at least in PDF by the end of the first quarter. So super excited about that. And then I think I'm working on stuff after that. But but that's going to be a huge thing to get done. I mean, this is probably the most exciting project I've worked on since the guide.
I mean, it's absolutely mind-bogglingly exciting, and I know it's going to be great to get a copy of the book. I have, I think, an early version of the guide still ring bound that was given out of Gen Con a while ago, and it's going to be great.
You know what? Yeah, and isn't it crazy? I mean, I actually had I had the text at what I thought was about 95% done. Gosh, a good 2-3 years ago. I've revised the text, we've added additional cults, etc., and constantly been revising this stuff as we learned and discovered new things. But also, you know, we took a gamble with you know, let's have just a small group of artists do all of the art for this so that we have a singular common style, and then let's just have it be some of the very best artists that we ever work with. So, you know, that takes time. They have been incredible, and but you know, I think Loic has done hundreds of pieces.
I spoke to him a while ago, and I know he's super excited about it. He was talking all about how it was like, you know, a massive deal to be able to jump in and do all of this illustration. I'd love to know actually whether it's, you know, might be a particular piece or it might be a particular section of the book. Is there an aspect, an element of the new book that you are the most excited about? Obviously, you know, it's your baby. It's something you've been working on for a long time. But is there
there's a couple of ways of looking at. One is that what I'm super excited about is having all of these different cults together in one place, because it's a way of telling a story through a cast of 100. And each of these cults together give you one view of the great cosmic mysteries of Glorantha, and you assemble them all together, and they're all interlinked. And when you assemble it all together, you have this huge picture. And you know, this incredible monomyth that's been put together. You know, an entire world cosmology all in one place, and to me that is unbelievably exciting. But of individual cults that I'm super happy with in here, there is so much new material on some of the old well-established cults that, like Orlantha and Arnalda, that have never been in any form you know, in one place. We've learned a tremendous amount about those cults in the writing of it, but also cults that have never been, you know, they've never seen the day of the light of day before. Shargash, which is the war god of or one of the war gods of the Fire Sky cult. Working fully out and updating and expanding out the Yomalio cult so that it all makes sense. That was a super exciting one. And then the lunar myth. The lunar pantheon has never really been in print before. There's been some bits and pieces of it. You know, that the team over at Tales of the Reaching Moon did a really great job putting some of the cults together, but this is doing it all together, all at the same time, and then adding in additional lunar cults like Haniel and Huaran Dalthipa and Yara Aranis. There's a ton there, and you know, there is nothing in Cults of Prax and Cults of Terror or the Cults of Compendium that didn't make it into this, with the exception, there's some minor regional cults that didn't make it into this because they're going to appear in the regional supplement. So for example, Pavis, the cult of Pavis is going to be in the Pavis book because that makes more sense. Or the cult of the Zolafel River will show up there in Flintnail. But the Oslira cult shows up here. The Yalorna cult shows up here. There's just a ton, man.